good day, and how is everybody out there on planet Earth in these crazy, crazy times, which are actually super exciting if you choose to perceive it that way. Okay, so I am going to be talking about choosing your frequency again. So this is part two. I might repeat stuff that I said in part one, and then again, I might get some, unique, original downloads as we go. So, yeah, frequency, everybody is talking about energy, frequency, vibration, and timelines and multidimensional realities. And it's so confusing, isn't it? Now, I've managed, I think, to just be quite kind of strict with myself and break it all down. More so to stop me doing and consuming things that I probably shouldn't, and just making up excuses like, oh, it won't affect me. Oh, it'll be fine. It's okay. I mean, I'm thinking not myself now as much, definitely in the past, about alcohol or, you know, smoking or eating certain types of food or hanging out with certain kinds of people. It all has a massive effect. Everything, every single little tiny dot in your reality is going to affect you. It has a frequency. So just, going to get into it. It's not a very long video. Play it on repeat, and I will no doubt be repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Okay, so number one, everything has a frequency. Everything. Okay. My cup has a frequency. Coffee in my cup has a frequency. Now, what frequency do you think coffee is? I mean, we don't really need to know or measure it specifically. Like, what do you reckon? Do you reckon it's a high frequency or a low frequency? And, don't want to be, actually, really don't want to be drinking this at all, but some water, especially if it was from a mountain spring. In fact, actually, you could compare the two, high frequency or low frequency. Which one do you think's got the higher frequency? Okay, so when we're making choices, because it's all about the choices that we make, the reality that we create, and it's all about the energy, frequency, and vibration. The frequency and vibration of the things in your realm, everything, is going to directly affect the quality or the nature of the reality that is manifesting around you in every single given nano moment. So I do like coffee when it's very hot. I can't drink it when it's warm or cold. It's a bit like drinking champagne when it's warm. It just doesn't have the same. But I suppose really it just means that when it's warm, you can taste how bad it really is, right? So let's have some water. Although again, I don't think that this is particularly high frequency as waters go. But anyway, it's all right. You can transmute that stuff, all right? Because once you know what's going on, you're able to kind of like have an effect on it, all right? But to start with, as you're getting going and you're trying to make some space in your brain and experience a bit of peace, if you're struggling, the first thing to do is to go through your environment and write a checklist and yay or nay the frequencies, okay? And so things that really make a massive difference are, making sure that your space is tidy, kind of military organization. Just keep on top of things, because an overflowing bin, out of date meat in your fridge, or sour milk, or things hiding at the back of it that are just all moldy and gross. This is just lower, lower, lower kind of frequency in terms of, being in your realm. It's not a judgment of good or bad. There's no right, wrong, good, bad. The mold in on the food isn't bad in itself. It's just doing its thing. But if you're opening up your fridge and you're having a look around, or imagine you had some esteemed guests who came to your house and, you know, they started opening up your fridge and having a little nosy or kind of looking under your rugs or opening up your toilet seat, how would you feel if you walked into a hotel and it was all dirty and the bin was overflowing? You'd complain. And yet somehow we seem to think that because we live in our houses all day and we're in our lives all the time, it's okay to let things slide. It's okay not to shower. It's okay not to do your hair. It's okay to wear your pajamas out to go shopping. It's okay to be rude to people. It's okay that you've got untidy rubbish all over the place because who cares? Who cares? Well, you should care. You should care. And things should be clean and tidy and organized. And, we should only be bringing things into our space that are going to raise the frequency or be of use. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again because it's super, super important. And it's like the Marie Kondo, the Japanese lady, the art of tidying up, or is it called the magical art of tidying up? It's not magic, it's science, it's physics, it's quantum physics. So if you're feeling stuck and you need a shift, spend a day getting stuck into cleaning the house and organizing, throwing out everything and you can start in a room. Like I'm in my kitchen. I'm constantly trying to tidy my kitchen. I'm just going to show you a little bit. So if there's, it's a bit of a disaster, some of it, but I kind of keep trying to make sure that that sweet bit's tidy, and I try and make sure that this corner's tidy. I try to make sure that I've got no dishes on the side. I've got a bit of a chip on which way is my finger? Got a bit of a chip there. Make sure that's all clean, make sure my water filter's filled up and that my desk space is empty. And yeah, and it makes a massive difference, and it's the same with mental and emotional things, we get cluttered up with our mental and emotional baggage, and that has to be cleared out as well. And it's not pleasant, but we have to pull up our sleeves and get stuck in to clearing out the crap from our lives before we can be filled with the light that's surely coming in right now, and especially in this 2025 portal. Um, Remember also, you see, the thing is that everything has a frequency and everything has an interference pattern. So obviously you're the center of your universe, all right? And so the things that you're bringing into your reality are going to have an interference pattern, especially if you're consuming them and taking them inside your sacred vessel, past all your chakras. The food we consume is going from your mouth to the other end, and it's passing all the way through with its frequency, and it's having an effect on everything. And we tend to think, oh, it's all right, it won't don't do me any harm. But the continual, ongoing, chronic, consumption of negative, lower frequency food or whatever is going to have an effect on your mood and how you operate your vessel and how you feel and how heavy or light you are. Again, there's no judgment, there's no right and wrong. It's all about you. Where do you want to be? And what steps do you need to take to adjust all the frequencies in your realm? Because this is having a massively direct effect on you and how you feel. Um, and then, of course, you've got not just the frequencies, but the harmony. Okay, so we have frequencies of different things that are harmonious together and things that are disharmonious. And so, with color, for me, yellow and blue has always been such a, I don't know why. It should be complementary. Saffron and teal. Now, that's a nice kind of harmonious color frequency combination, but not primary yellow and blue together next to each other. It just, I don't know. And that's why it's the Ukraine flag. It's all to do with the certain frequency of doom that it creates. This stuff's real. All the colors, smells, all the foods, colors, patterns, language, I mean, of course, the words that we speak as well, which is to do with the mental, emotional aspects. You see, we navigate with resonance and dissonance to guide us, how we feel about certain things. We're not supposed to be navigating our realm on with words on the say-so of others. Okay. It's you, and what's happening now is we're being told that how we feel isn't how we feel. Okay, especially when you're introducing or consuming lower frequency things in your realm, such as the media, the news, and the news of doom. All right. So, I would suggest that if you want to do this and you really want to start taking stock of the frequencies in your realm, just start in your kitchen, your bedroom, or wherever it is, your lounge, wherever it is that's your space. Sit down and just start clearing stuff out. Do not allow sentimentality to make you keep things because there are attachments to things that you don't want. Of course, keep the things you love, but try and keep it a really small pile and then stay on top of it. Make sure your bed's made every morning. Make sure you're drinking enough preyed upon quality water because, again, the frequency, you pour your water, let's say it's 100 out of whatever, it doesn't matter. And then I put the intention through my energy. And even though I can't see it, and sometimes I'm like, oh my God, am I going insane? Am I doing this wrong? Am I crazy? Like, oh my, it doesn't matter. Just keep doing it. It's real. We are these magical beings of light. It's real. We absolutely affect things. Fake it till you make it and then you can transmute it. It's what you believe. It doesn't even matter if somebody was to test it and go, no, it's the same. It's what you think of it. It's what you believe. It's how much power you put into it. That's what's important. So, yeah, sit in a room and go through and list everything you can see, everything you can hear and smell, and go through it all and work and just clean it all out. Um, we are affected by people, places, things, events, animals, planets, our environment, that work, everything. I'll put a list at the bottom of the video and you can actually use that as your checklist, okay? And this is very, very serious. This is real, absolutely real. You can also, then start playing around with balancing things out so that you're not having to kind of just live this absolute, complete Puritan life, although it would be advisable, I guess. And I guess that's why people like the Amish, they live the way they do and keep everything simple so that they're not drowning out with the cacophony of Lucifer or Satan's chaotic shadow realm. They're not drowning out the voice of God, the silent voice that is within. You are what you consume. Well, and it's not just the food, like I said, which is going through past the chakras and having an effect on everything, but things like the words that you speak. Are you speaking poisonous gossip, or are you trying to help and pour balm on things and just be a nice, decent human being? All right. So everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. And it's once you've cleared out all of the discordant resonances of the things in your realm, you'll be able to hear that voice and you'll be able to kind of focus more on, then really raising the frequency and the vibration of your reality and your realm because you're not competing against other things. And we are such masters at deluding ourselves. And this is probably one of the biggest things that we've got to overcome at this time is being honest with ourselves because yeah, we've been played, man, but it's okay because we know the way out. And the way out is to know who you are, take control of your realm, and don't stop until you know you've landed on the beach and the surf game is over. That's probably a bit of a silly, rubbish metaphor. All right, so that's all I want to say on resonance, frequency, and my next one will be, what's the next one going to be? Well, I'm still going to get to the who am I. I really want to make that into a bit of a mini workshop. Um, Timelines, again, I need to keep going on about the timelines, and that's to do with the frequency, resonance, and vibration as well. Oh yeah, and I also want to do my vision of the future. I'm gonna write this down here. Vision of the future, and because we are creating this, so I want to just share a bit like that guy. What was his name? The Q shaman guy that appeared at the beginning of all of the, well, it was December 2020. He was saying, focus on the good stuff, share all the good stuff. I also want to share some stories about my memories of the past reality that we used to be in. I just remember being on tall ships. I remember all sorts of things. I remember amazing dresses and ballrooms and crystal palaces and just amazingness. I do. I remember it all. I've written here in a box, will I ascend? And then I've answered myself, it's up to you. And I think I'm going to leave it there because I could just ramble on and go all over the place all day long. I'm always resistant to doing it when I get going. You can't shut me up. All right. So, vision of the future. Who am I? And then I'm going to share some of my dreams, memories, rememberings of a different reality where everything is harmonious and wonderful and beautiful. All right. Speak to you soon. Much love. Oh, and I just wanted to add a little bit about, people making an effort with themselves, especially here in England. I really see there's this whole culture, isn't there, of just going out in your pajamas or your tracksuit bottoms, and people are just not even making an effort. They're not taking any pride in the way that they look. Why? I mean, it's not selfish or self-absorbed to want to express yourself as the best that you are. Why would we want to make ourselves look worse? This kind of like, oh, well, it's just me being natural. People used to dress properly and you would never be seen in your pajamas. You just wouldn't. This is how a civilization works. And the other thing as well, you go in the high street shops. The colors, the designs, and the patterns, again, try to look at it with a completely different kind of perspective, right? Just know that the graphic patterns and the color schemes, especially go and have a look in like Marks and Spencer's and look at a lot of the kids' clothes lately. They're all dark colors and just gross patterns. There's no beauty, there's no harmony, there's no grace, there's no joy, there's no bliss. These fabrics, materials, which are polyester, plastic, and they are specifically created to have a low frequency so that when you wear them, you feel crap. That's the whole point of the high street shops is to make crap using slave labor so that it's got the dark energy in it from that as well. And if you think that that's not going to affect you, then yeah, you're not in reality. Not many of us are, not yet anyway. So, yeah, I just really wanted to kind of underline that, the beautiful pure colors and, the beautiful natural fabrics, linens and silks and cottons. Where have they all gone? Unless you've got an absolute fat wallet to go to the brand shops or, to go and get something that's a little bit alternative, but it's just so expensive, isn't it? That's why I like making my own. I've started my new Sophie's Universe using a different, well, this is the actual original um, wool, cotton that was meant to be used. I thought I was using the right one. I was using the colors, but a slightly different gauge, a different quality. So it's the same brand, but instead of it being Cotton 8, I'm using Katona, which is far superior And now I know that even though I made a mistake, it wasn't really a mistake because I ended up with a better wool. But again, you see, this one isn't giving me the same vibration as my other one, which I'm going to grab just to show you the difference. So the hook for this is only 0.5 millimeter bigger. So they're kind of a similar gauge of wool. And you're probably going to prefer the colors in this one because this bit's a nicer color. But the thing is, what's going on is that the one here on the right, this one, it's heavier, it's thicker, it's more solid, and it just has a vibrancy which isn't really coming out on here that this one doesn't. So this is pretty solid, and it just gives me such a good. I mean, look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Look at the frequency of this. People are so afraid of color these days. Everybody's just wearing black and white. And remember, you're cheering other people up if you dress yourself up in nice colors. It's them that doesn't want to wear the dark colors, not you. And if they're going to be judging people who do wear colors, which would be just crazy, then they've got problems, haven't they? All right, this is a lot thinner than that one. It's a bit more flimsy, and I'm currently deciding whether or not to continue with this pack load of wool. But anyway, I just wanted to go frequency, color, it's all vibration, and it absolutely affects your mood and everything. Anyway, that was a very meant to be a short add-on, and it's kind of cool this way. I can just add on little bits and then stitch them all together. And I'm going to go and do a bit of, looking into how I can make this more exciting for people so they don't switch off and they get the message. All right, this time I'm going goodbye to look at the bottom.